Meet Raj. He works 40 hours a week as a teacher. Every month, he looks at his paycheck, and every month, he sighs, because the government takes a big chunk of his hard-earned money as tax. Now meet Richard. Richard is a billionaire. He owns companies, private jets, and probably a yacht bigger than your house. But here's the crazy part. Richard often pays less tax than Raj, sometimes way less, sometimes almost nothing. How is that possible? Is it legal? And why aren't you doing it too? Welcome to today's video. We're going inside the secret world of billionaires, offshore accounts, and tax havens. By the end of this 20 minutes, you'll understand exactly how the rich stay rich and why your tax bill might be bigger than theirs. Let's start with a simple question. What even is tax? Tax is basically a membership fee for living in a country. You earn money, the government takes a cut, and in return they give you roads, schools, hospitals, police, and that park where you walk your dog. For most normal people like Raj, tax is simple. It comes straight out of your paycheck. It's called income tax. The more you earn, the more you pay. That's the deal. But billionaires, they don't really earn money like you do. They don't have a boss giving them a paycheck every month. They own things, companies, stocks, buildings, land. And the way the tax system treats owning things is very different from how it treats working for money. And that's where the magic begins. Imagine there's a tiny island in the middle of the ocean. It's sunny, beautiful, and has maybe 30,000 people living there. But here's the interesting part. This island has no taxes. Zero. Zilch. Nada. If you're a billionaire, why would you keep your money in a country that takes 40% of it when you could move it to this island that takes nothing? These islands are called tax havens, places like the Cayman Islands, Bermuda, Luxembourg, Switzerland. They make money not by taxing you, but by charging you a small fee to keep your money there safely. And here's the thing, it's completely legal. Governments actually allow this. Why? Because the people making these laws are often the same people benefiting from them. Let's follow Richard's money and see where it goes. Richard owns a company called Tech Things. It sells gadgets and makes $100 million profit this year. Normally, that $100 million would be taxed at around 21% in America. That's $21 million to the government. But Richard has a plan. First, he sets up a company in the Cayman Islands. This company is just a mailbox with a name, literally, sometimes just a desk in a lawyer's office. Then, Tech Things licenses its brand name to the Cayman company. Tech Things pays the Cayman company $80 million for using the brand. Suddenly, Tech Things only made $20 million profit in America. They pay tax on $20 million instead of $100 million. And the $80 million sitting in the Cayman Islands, zero tax. This is called profit shifting, and it's happening everywhere, all the time. Now, if you think that's complicated, wait until you hear about the double Irish with a Dutch sandwich. Yes, that's a real thing. It's not lunch, it's a tax strategy. Here's how it works. Company A in Ireland collects all the money. They pay Company B in the Netherlands. Company B pays Company C in Bermuda, and Bermuda has no taxes. The money travels from Ireland to Netherlands to Bermuda, and somehow nobody pays tax anywhere. It's like playing hopscotch with millions of dollars. Google, Apple, Facebook, they all used versions of this for years. In fact, in 2017, Apple had $250 billion sitting offshore. That's $250 billion. If that money was in America, they'd owe $75 billion in taxes. But it wasn't, so they didn't. And it was all perfectly legal. But it's not just companies. Individual billionaires have their own tricks. Here's a big one. You pay tax when you sell something and make profit, but if you don't sell, no tax. So billionaires don't sell their stocks. Instead, they borrow money using their stocks as collateral. Loans aren't income, so no tax. They live off loans, pay almost nothing in tax, and their wealth keeps growing. Another trick, carried interest. Hedge fund managers and private equity guys get paid billions, but they call it investment profit instead of income. Investment profit is taxed at 20%, income is taxed at 37% for top earners. That's a 17% discount for being rich. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men alive, once admitted he pays a lower tax rate than his secretary. Think about that for a second. So here's the big question. Is any of this illegal? Technically, no. These are loopholes written into the tax code by politicians, many of whom are funded by billionaires. It's like playing a game where the rich get to write the rules. But is it moral? That's different. When billionaires avoid taxes, the government has less money for schools, hospitals, roads. Regular people like Raj end up paying more to make up the difference. The system becomes unfair. Some countries are fighting back. The OECD, a group of rich countries, made a deal for a 15% minimum global tax. The EU is closing loopholes. But billionaires have expensive lawyers who find new loopholes faster than governments can close old ones. It's a cat-and-mouse game, and the mice have unlimited resources. So what can regular people do? First, understand that this isn't about jealousy, it's about fairness. Billionaires creating jobs and innovation should be celebrated, but they should also pay their fair share. Second, pay attention to who you vote for. Some politicians want to close loopholes, some want to open more. Your vote matters. Third, support journalists and organizations that expose these practices. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. And finally, remember that the system isn't broken for everyone. It's working exactly as designed for the people who designed it. Raj will keep paying his taxes. Richard will keep finding ways around his. But now, Raj knows the truth. And knowing is the first step to changing things. Thanks for watching. If you learned something, hit subscribe, and maybe share this with someone who thinks the tax system is fair.